us, some of the biggest challenges we face involve our entire society. Like accusations that America's police treat black people differently than white people. Can we use the fact that behavior is contagious to tackle that problem? That's the goal of cutting-edge training police officers in California are undergoing. First, Stanford behavioral scientist Jennifer Eberhardt helps the cops grasp that bias is frequently the result of non-conscious autopilot decisions they make.
It's about your brain and the culture.
Then, each of the officers comes up with their own way of communicating to their fellow cops how implicit bias can distort their choices.
A black person or a white person, and that person's either holding a gun or holding an innocuous object like a cell phone or a soda can or something like that. And if you look with black targets and white targets, it shows that there's a higher error rate for black targets.
The officers will then go back to their local police stations and focus on influencing how their fellow officers interact with the community.
Once you do understand and know that it exists, you would be remiss not to employ the ideas, the tenets behind it in your everyday job. It's disturbing to think that there may be some out there that want to still argue that they don't have any bias, or even worse, that they're okay, knowing that they haven't, and they actually allow that to affect their interactions with anybody, both in personal life or in professional life.
Millions of Americans have gone online to take the Implicit Association Test, or IAT, with the goal of finding out if the decisions they make about people of other races, sexes, and ages are influenced by autopilot biases. The test was co-created by Mazrin Banaji, and she's been impressed by the way many people react to a test result that suggests they're biased.
When people see that their test score is saying something about their minds that they know not to be true, of course they could have just walked away from the test and said, who cares? Some silly little test tells me that I have race bias or age bias. Why should I believe that? But people don't do that. They engage with us. They engage with the test. They take the test many times over. The first response to the test is, that's not who I am. And then soon after that, well, what can I do to improve myself? And I'm always reminded of the Sufi poet Rumi, who said in the 13th century, each and every one of us is a jackass, but with the wings of angels tacked onto us. And I think that when I talk to any individual person who has gone through this experience with the IAT, I can see that their mind is sort of flooded with these thoughts of their jackass side, and then how they must use the wings of angels to fly away from their native and natural selves.